Those of you that watch my videos regularly know that I use this type of push stick right here. This one has seen better days though. It's pretty much worn out. I've cut into it several times when cutting thinner stock, and that's typically what happens with this. You don't try to keep these forever. These are disposable, they do wear out, and in this video, I'm going to be making a new one, and I'll show you how to do that. I start with the template that I printed off, and this is available on my website for free. You can download it. There's a link in the description. To make this one, I'm going to be using 3/4 inch, just regular spruce sheathing plywood. It's important to use plywood for this. I really wouldn't recommend using solid wood because it can break unexpectedly, and that would be bad here in the handle if you're using solid wood. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to paste it down to the plywood. I figure I might as well make two at the same time, so I've got another blank here, the same size. And I'm just going to take this one, line it up, and screw it down temporarily in places where the push stick isn't on the blank. I've got a bandsaw, so I'm going to use that to cut it out. You can also use a jigsaw or even by hand with something like a coping saw. Okay, I got both blanks cut out. I'm just going to peel the paper off this one. And then just to make it a little bit more comfortable to handle, I'm going to round over the corners on the router table. Well, that's all there is to the basic shaping of these. If you want to, you could apply some finish. Red paint, yellow paint would certainly help it show up here in the shop. But I keep mine right on the top of the table saw fence like that, so it's always where I can see it. Now, when it comes to actually using them, they're easy. The benefit of this type of push stick is that it will hook over the end of the material with this notch on the end here. It will also hold the stock down tight to the tabletop so it can't lift. You could, if you wanted to, use another push stick to hold it tight against the fence at this point. I tend to use, or I like to use, I prefer to use my hand to hold it in tight. I like to feel what's going on with what I'm cutting. If the work starts to bind, you'll have some real tactile feedback when you're using your hands. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to come close to the blade. You can stay well clear of the blade. I watch the leading edge of my insert here, and I try not to have my fingers go past that when I'm holding the stock tight against the fence. Also, while I'm pushing down with this push stick, I'm also pushing sideways towards the fence as well, so that any forward motion will always take me away from the blade. And I'm helping to keep the stock tight against the fence at the same time. This will become second nature to you if you start using this type of push stick. You'll automatically start pushing the stock that way towards the fence and away from the blade. So even if my hand did slip at some point, my momentum, because I'm going that way, would take me away from the blade. Whenever I'm using a table saw, I adjust the blade to the depth of the material that I'm cutting. So with the blade set to the correct height, my hand is always well away from it when I'm making a cut with this push stick. Well, that's about it for this one. Not a very big project, but a very important one, at least in my shop. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this is the only push stick that I use, and in my opinion, it's the best one. Before I go, I want to take the time to say thank you to the people that have signed up to support this channel on Patreon. If you would like to do the same, there's a link in the description.